Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to This Week in WordPress. It is May the 4th, and I'm BJ Keaton. I'm back after a couple of weeks to bring you absolutely the best news, tutorials, and resources that I've been able to wrangle up, and hopefully we will be able to have some fun talking about it. So feel free to throw anything you have in the comments, and let's get to it. All right, you guys. It has been a while, hasn't it? It has been absolutely nuts, and I have missed all of you guys. I've missed everyone's comments, and so hopefully we'll get back into the swing of things, and I haven't, forgotten how to do this. So if you've never joined in before, what This Week in WordPress is, it's a live stream where I talk about a lot of the stuff that has happened this week in WordPress, all articles that were published, tutorials, that kind of thing, with you guys. It's very open, and I want everybody to be able to talk back and forth. If you have any kind of issues or questions, then feel free to throw them in the comments section. We always have a lot of people who are wanting to help everybody and just willing to lend a hand. So hopefully we'll have that today as well. So I always try to, I always try to respond to a lot of the comments that are going on, so I try to make sure that I say whether or not this is on Facebook or YouTube for who I'm talking to, so that it doesn't get confusing if you can't see those comments and you think I'm a crazy person. So I will do that throughout the show. Hi Sylvain to Quebec, Canada. Hello from Alabama. And on YouTube, Unobtainious talks about my Spider-Man lamp. I love that lamp. My mama made me that when I was a teenager. It makes me, it always makes me so happy. So like I said, hello to Coastal Georgia, and might as well dig on in. Before I actually get started with the news, I do want to point out that we have a new blog submission program for the Elegant Themes blog, and if you've always wanted to write for us, then maybe now is your chance. If you click the first link in the description of this video, it's called Elegant Themes Blog Open Submissions. It's where we lay out what we are looking for in freelance writers. You will get paid. This is not an opportunity for us to make a buck off of you. This is an opportunity for you to make a buck off of us. So submit your ideas. It shows the whole process of what we need, and we would love to be able to showcase some of your stuff on the blog because we know we have an absolutely fantastic community out there. So please take a look at that if you're interested in throwing any ideas our way. That said, the news this week, I'm a few weeks behind. I haven't been, this is the third week. I've missed the past 2 weeks, however that puts. So I'm trying to play catch up here, and I've just picked out the very best of the best of the best that I can put together. So I'm going to really hit the high points, I think, and start out with stuff that started this week at Elegant Themes. We started the Divi Design Initiative earlier this year, where we started giving away free layout packs for Divi every week. And there's a blog that was published where Nick is talking about all of the new the Design Initiative 2.0, where we're going to be giving away a lot more assets and multiple layouts a week with different kinds of niches that we can talk to you about and get that kind of stuff out there for you. So I really think it's a great idea for y'all to check that out. That leads me into the next part of it, where we're going to be offering weekly updates and then also weekly sneak peeks for what's coming up with Divi, because we're really excited now that 3.1 is out. I know a lot of you guys were like, where's our new stuff? And we were putting out 3.1. It came out a couple of weeks ago for the developer update, so everyone can work with the front end builder like we've got. Now we're going to be releasing weekly feature updates, and we're going to be previewing and sneak peeks the next weeks afterward. So this week we actually do have our first sneak peek up. It was published yesterday, so you need to check it out, and it's dynamic content. and it is absolutely fantastic. It's conditional content, so when someone does this, then this happens on the page. It is awesome. It's going to be great, and you guys really need to pay attention to that when it drops next week. So we want you to be really, really happy about that because we're super excited about this one. It's going to really change the way that you make websites, honestly. So check that out. Look forward to the sneak peeks every week. Grab as many of the free layouts as you can. They'll be in your builder, in your visual builder or your backend builder under the Divi library tab to import. So it's going to be fantastic. And yeah, Jeremy, I see in the YouTube comments, it was like conditional content, awesome. Yeah, check it out. It's absolutely going to be fantastic. And I was one of the people when Nathan mentioned this to me, he's like, oh yeah, we're going to have dynamic content. And I'm like, what is dynamic content? It's like my brain didn't connect that, and he described it, and I was like, oh, that's going to change everything. So it makes me super, super happy for that. Oh, excuse me. I see a couple of comments on YouTube and Facebook. Hello, Michael. Thank you for welcoming me back. And Dawn on YouTube has a Divi design question that she needs to create a comparison table for a client and don't know if there's a good way to do that in Divi. I don't know either, Dawn. I've tried to do the same thing. The best that I've been able to use is honestly the pricing module. I've made it kind of like a comparison thing because you can place it with X's and check marks and change the icons on stuff. So that was really what I used for comparison. It might be what you want if it's for a product where it's going to be dynamic, like you click on this product and it gives you a comparison of different similar products from your store. I don't know, because I would love to be able to find that myself. I've had that request a couple of times and I'm not sure. I know there are some plugin people who are watching this right now because I've seen their names pop up as they're watching, like Randy and SJ. So you guys may know the answer to that one. And in terms of the scaling for mobile, it does, but I honestly can't remember what it looks like on mobile. I know it does. This is one of those things. I've used it and I've got it on web pages of my own because it's fine on mobile, and I just honestly don't remember if it scales everything down within one or if it places them one on top of the other vertically. I can't remember. So it does. I just don't know how. That said, hi, Uncle Social. Welcome back. And everybody, I've avoided making any Star Wars Day references, but I'm going to have to now. I'm Obi-Wan Beej-Nobi. No, it's Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So you guys will have fun. Hopefully have fun with that. I love Star Wars Day. And for some reason, they didn't release Solo today, which I think is a terribly, terribly, terribly missed opportunity. So yeah. On Facebook, Rick Owens says that Divi should break the layouts into blocks so you could add only what you want from them. Rick, we are working on that. We're working on having the individual sections from each layout on there, so you don't have to delete the one or copy the one that you want. I love the idea of that, and the reason that it's not done already is because when the layouts were first created, they weren't basically saved that way, and we're going to have to go back and manually take all of those sections out. So we want to do it. We are working on it. We know that's something that you guys want, and honestly, us as team members want it for the exact same reasons you do, and we're trying. We're working on that. That is in the pipeline. I have no idea when we're going to be able to actually put that out, but it is something I know that is on the docket. So because we want it as much as you do, and I know that you want it a lot. And Randy on YouTube, I know I went this far without a Star Wars reference because I didn't want to alienate people who were just coming in, and I also kind of felt like I might be a goober talking because I had this whole spiel worked up, and it was like I just can't do it. On YouTube, Greg Wilson asks, are we going to be able to edit mobile text flow and save it so that there are different flows on mobile and desktop? That I don't know, Greg. I haven't played with it, and that is something that I have no clue on how the back and forth with the dynamism works. Dynamism, is that the word? I don't know. I'm not sure how what conditions that it's gonna actually have per module. So that's gonna be one I'm gonna have to wait and see myself. So Jeremy, the ability to put your own responsive size would be great. 4:2 or 5:1 instead of regular divided 3:2. Yes, in terms of the columns on a Divi page, that is also something I know that we're working on. That has no idea. Excuse me, I have no idea, again, when that's coming in, but I've heard the design team and the development team talking about that. That's something we know you guys want, and we're on it. That is something that I want you to know that we are aware of. And also on YouTube, Roy said that we need to have more headers. And I know that Nick actually commented on I think it was one of these posts. It was one of these posts, I believe, and said that the headers were coming, that we are working on the headers as well. And we know, man, I want some headers. I want some new headers and footers myself. So I do. We are working really hard right now. We were really pushing it to get 3.1 out, like pushing to get that out. We wanted that to really hit, because now that we've got that foundation laid, the code base is there, and we've got a lot of those bugs worked out that we were afraid to release into the wild. We are now going to be able to start working on these kinds of high demand features that you guys want. So I'm really, really excited about these, like you guys are. And background images on top of your site. What does that mean? Roy, I'm actually curious on that. Can you describe that a little bit better? Because that one, I'm not sure what it is, and I will, if I've heard about it, I'll let you know. So as we move through this, I wanted to talk about just very briefly that WordPress 4.9.6 is coming out soon. They do have a release date for it. And if you remember back a few weeks, about a month ago, they announced that this was going to be the one where Gutenberg is going to be kind of pushed on the masses. It's not going to be installed, but it's going to have a banner that shows this is coming. This is what you can do. This is where you can read about it. This is where you can download it. And they're going to have a lot of that in the back end by default. And that comes with 4.9.6. And they've released the schedule for it. And it's going to get a release candidate on May 8th, which is in 4 days, which is Tuesday. And then it should release on Tuesday, May 15th. It should be able to be there to update. So it does have security fixes. It does have bug fixes. It is going to be an actual update and not just putting in a Gutenberg banner, but that was one of the reasons people have been paying attention to it. So I wanted to make sure that you guys know that that is coming. Prep your clients, prep your bosses, prep yourselves. You're going to see that when 4.6 comes in. So Jeremy asks, who cares about Gutenberg if you use Divi? I mean, it'll be useful, but it's only for non-Divi users, right? Yes and no. Okay, so I don't know what our Gutenberg integration is going to be. We're working on that, and I'm not part of the team that is working on that. But in terms of how it's going to affect us and if it's going to be useful for us, yeah, okay. Let me think on how to even phrase this, because I've thought so much about this. We had so many conversations about this. We're going to make sure that Divi interacts with Gutenberg in the best way possible. We want it to be something where you're not necessarily making a choice of either or, like it sounds like right now. If there's a way for us to really get them integrated somehow, we're really going to do that. In a lot of ways, it's going to... in a lot of ways, it is kind of an either-or thing, because you can use the Divi text module that has the Divi, I don't even remember what it's called, the Divi MCE or whatever the base one is that we have, and it's going to be great. You can also use Gutenberg along with it. I've used both of them on the same site before. The reason that we should care about Gutenberg, honestly, is even if we don't use it, even if Divi, in the not going to happen future, it completely ignores Gutenberg. We're not. You don't have to use it, but we know that people will need to know how to use it. It's something that you need to know about. It's going to change the way WordPress is working. It's going to change the way people code their plugins. It's going to change the way that themes are built. It's going to change the way that we build our theme in the future and work on, because we have to adapt to the software as it is in core. So that's why we should care about it. But in terms of using it and its utility with Divi, I'm not sure yet. We want it to work together, and we want to be able to maybe include Divi blocks in Gutenberg blocks, or Divi modules in Gutenberg blocks, or Gutenberg blocks in Divi modules, however it is that it works out. Like I said, I'm not on that team. These are just ideas I know some of us have thrown out, like, hey, can we do this? I don't know, but we will be continuing with Divi. It's going to be the same as it is now in terms of what it does for you, what we're going to be creating. It's not going to impact our production schedule and stuff like that. But like you said, you know, this WP update. Yeah, with 5.0, Jeremy, and for the rest of you who didn't know, 5.0, Gutenberg is going to ship as the default editor for WordPress. So that is coming really, really soon. They missed the April deadline that they were pushing for, that they had mentioned in WordCamp in December at WordCamp last year, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad it's May and we don't have Gutenberg yet, because a lot of people are not ready for it. But it's going to be the default editor. You can install the old editor as a plugin, just the same as it is right now, but it's not default anymore. That's the main reason it has an impact on WordPress, is because we're going to have to both deal with that, and we're going to have to explain it to our clients and our users, and write new tutorials, and just however we need to approach that. But that's why I think it's going to have a really big impact on WordPress, more so than having an impact on any of our daily lives on how we're working with Divi and WordPress. It's just going to be another layer we have to learn. So that said, with WordPress, goodness gracious, with Gutenberg, my mouth is so dry, you guys. With Gutenberg, they did just release version 2.7 recently, and I'm really excited about this one, because the main issue that I've had with Gutenberg is that you couldn't edit your permalinks in the editor. They took it out for a while, and now they've added it back in, so that actually means that they are paying attention to what needs to be there. I'm still not using it. That's not something that I'm paying attention to in terms of, oh yeah, this means I can use this on a daily basis, because it's not. But it's something that they're actually putting basic features that we need that weren't there. So yeah. Roy on Facebook clarified what I'd asked about earlier, is like where you have a logo and a menu, and will it be able to have a background instead of colors? It should be able to, Roy. Right now you can do that with CSS, but again, that gets into some really specific coding stuff when you're trying to get it centered and leveled and where you want it with CSS. But that's something that I'm hoping really comes with the header updates that we're getting. I'm assuming it's going to be, given the way that the other Divi modules let you add backgrounds and gradient overlays to those. I would assume the same is going to happen to the headers. That's what I want to happen to the headers, and I don't see any reason why not. I mean, I'm not an official source on that one, because again, I'm not on that team, but it would only make sense to me, since you can do it on pretty much all of the other modules as well. And that's a much asked for feature. So I think it'll be good. Also, just very briefly, the 27th of May this year is WordPress's 15th anniversary. So there's just a neat post I thought you guys might be interested in reading about, that WordPress.org posted this, celebrate WordPress's 15th anniversary. They're going to have just some stuff going on. Local WordPress meetup groups are going to get together, and it's just things like that. They've got some discount codes if you buy any WordPress swag. And I got to tell you guys, the black hoodie that they sold at WordCamp is one of the most comfortable hoodies I've ever had. I love it, and I want more of them. So I'm going to buy another one at WordCamp this year, so I'll have an extra. It's thin, but super comfy. So there's all sorts of stuff that they're selling at a discount. Just cool stuff. I wanted you guys to know that it's been 15 years since it was released, and we wouldn't be here without that. So for an anniversary on the 27th, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. So check out the WordPress.org post at the end of the news section here, or just above the end of the news section. I put the Gutenberg one below that, and just see all the cool stuff that WordPress.org is doing for the 15th anniversary. So If you're just joining us, that was all of the news section for This Week in WordPress. We went through some stuff like the new Divi Design Initiative updates that we're doing, the sneak peeks, the 4.9.6 WordPress update schedule, just things like that. And we had a pretty good discussion about both Star Wars and new Divi updates that are coming. So, and things that we're wanting out of it. So hopefully you can go back and read some of the articles, or wait until this video is finished and watch it from the archives, because this will be saved on both YouTube and Facebook. And so yeah, you can see my shining face that way. And so I wanted to also invite you to throw any kind of comments that you have into the comment section. I respond. Other people are responding and can answer questions if you have anything that's come up this week in WordPress for you, and we'll be able to hopefully solve those kinds of problems for you. So say hi, don't be shy. I did not mean to rhyme. So in the tutorial section this week, there were a lot of things that were posted. There are a ton of tutorials that I found over the last few weeks, and like I said, I really tried to grab the ones that grabbed me, that really stood out. And the main one that I wanted to point out more than anything else is that Flywheel posted this really, it's a tutorial in the way that it explains this to you. It's not necessarily a tutorial that's a step-by-step, but it shows you what a shortcode is. That if you're not a coder, if you're not a person who is developing within the WordPress code, then you may not actually understand what shortcodes are. And it was something that I didn't honestly know what they did until within maybe the last year and a half, that I wasn't really sure on, I knew that they did this stuff, but I wasn't, quite sure on how they did it. And they're essentially variables. What's really cool about it is that you write a PHP function and then you set it to a shortcode to call whatever that is within the post. Whether it is the example they give is add shortcode. When you see the shortcode, do this. I mean, that's what it is. And then I will. Oh man, I got confused by the I got distracted by the comments on there. But that's what a shortcode is. It's just a variable, and it shows you in this particular tutorial on how to put them together. And you can make your own shortcodes within your own themes that do stuff that only you or your clients need. And they are easy to make. If you know just a little bit of PHP to be able to do it, you're not going to have any trouble. Like, it really is just a couple of lines of code depending on what you need. I've used shortcodes to do things just like throw in a long paragraph I needed to reply, stuff like, or needed to repeat, things like that. So yeah, the really lazy way of doing it. So make sure that you check that out. If you've ever been curious, I was really glad to find that one that Flywheel did. And Judy on YouTube, I don't know, what did I say, Randy? Oh no, did I say something weird? Did my brain shut off? Let's see, yep, I did. Judy in YouTube pointed out that I typed the sneak peek wrong on the Divi Design Initiative thing in the comments. That I am showing you a really covert mountain. It is just it is snow covered and just kind of tiptoeing, and I'm just gonna go with it because this is all I've got. Because that's what it is. Sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I got in too much of a hurry. I also want to point out that I can't believe that Uncle Social noticed noticed my chair, that I got a new chair, because my other one was literally 20 years old. That I'd had the I don't know why I looked at the chair. I'd had, looking for the old chair, I'd had that other chair I was in for about 20 years. And so, like, literally, hand there, 20 years. And so it got really uncomfortable, and my back was hurting finally. So I had to buy one, and I bought one. You guys, this one reclines. It has a footrest, and it reclines all the way out, and I can lay down in it. It was like, that's crazy. Oh no, and Judy, no, not meaning to be the grammar police. I am right there. If I had noticed that, I would have fixed it, and I completely didn't even see it as I was reading through. But it's but yeah, so I'm the grammar police. As an English teacher for many years, I'm right there being the grammar police. It's just I'm very bad at editing myself. And yes, Randy, we do need a tutorial for creating short codes. I think you know who to talk to about that. That is a great idea, though. I'm not sure if that's ever been published on ours. I don't remember it if it has when I've been looking around. So yeah. Anyway, so the tutorials also, if you look at the next one down underneath the tutorial for WordPress shortcodes, you can see one for best practices with the CSS grid layout. If you guys have never used CSS Grid, it's awesome, and I really love Smashing Magazine. If you have never read Smashing, those of you who are longtime viewers know that I love Smashing Magazine, and they break down a lot of grid so that you can use this to make the absolute prettiest websites you can. And they really, when I say they break it down, they break it down. They are not a site that skimps on anything. So read that to get really good with CSS Grid. And also, Smashing put out an article on the local development for beginners that y'all read this, that I have so many people who ask me about local development. I was in a Slack channel. There's a local Slack group here where we talk about WordPress and other tech stuff in the North Alabama area. And one of the things, we had this really long discussion a while back on whether or not you need to design locally or whether or not you need to do design and development on cloud servers or on hidden servers or your own installs elsewhere. And it was really interesting. And it's really split about half and half for all the people I talk about, whether or not they're using some sort of sandbox online or they're developing on their local machines. And there are pros and cons of both, really. And I'm a cloud guy. I keep all sorts of WordPress installs at really weird URLs, but a lot of folks are doing development on their personal machines. You're doing stuff like that, most likely. So if you've thought about it and you don't really know how to install the local server onto your computer, you need to check out this one on Smashing, because again, they don't skimp, and it's one of the best tutorials for getting everything set up locally that I've ever seen. So check that out. It is awesome. Judy caught the editor's eye. Yeah, we do. I can't do it for myself. It's so hard for me to see my own. I'm really hard at it. It's really hard for me, and I'm bad at it. Goodness. I can't. Oh man, you had to update Drupal from 6 to 8. Ooh, yeah. That's Take a break from that. Just chill right now. Hi, Colombian Hosting. May the 4th be with you. You're having a May the 4th be with you party. Please tell me you're dressed up like a Jedi right now or something. Did you guys get to dress up to do that today? And Uncle Social says used to use your own hosting space until you found Local by Flywheel. I love Local by Flywheel. It is an absolutely great program. And one of the things that I've seen other people talk about in terms of Local is that even though it upsells you, it doesn't do it in your face. It's like, oh yeah, hey, maybe you would like to do this with Flywheel. And if you don't, it's like, okay, cool guys. That's what I like about it as well. It's not something that you had to be a Flywheel customer to use. Even though I personally like Flywheel, but I don't have any sites on there right now. And Colombian, what are you dressed up like as? Man, my words today, sorry. What are you dressed up as? I need to know. If I'd thought about it, I would be wearing a Star Wars shirt right now, but I'm not. I really did not think about it. And I'm a Star Wars dude. Like, I am really into Star Wars. So I don't know. That was where I went, by the way. That's where I was this past week. I was running the Run Disney Star Wars races in Walt Disney World in Florida, and they were awesome, you guys. Chewbacca, seriously, gave me a bro hug, the thing where you grab your hands, just like pop, pop. It was awesome. And I tried to give Boba Fett a hug. Boba Fett did not hug me. I have a photo of myself with Boba Fett stepping back from me going, no. And it was awesome. I was like a kid in a candy store. It was the best thing in the world. But I thought you guys should know, since it is Star Wars Day, Boba Fett does not let you hug him. So that's sad. And no, I don't want to die before the end of this episode. I guess I'm going to have to stream forever, Uncle Social. So yeah. Anyway, moving on just a little bit. The WordPress.com had a really cool blog, and it's not so much a. I don't know why I put this in tutorials instead of resources, so I'm just going to move a little bit further down now. This is a resource that I think is neat, and it's talking about a better way to choose your next domain name. And all it is they have a really neat new domain search where it includes things like the .pizza addresses, the other TLD extensions, and that is something that a lot of the domain matching services don't do well. Contextual URL domain stuff, where like their example is New York Pizza Cafe.blog would ended up coming back with, well, if that's not available, you can get New York Cafe.pizza. Stuff like that. I really think those kinds of contextual and semantic site generator domain searches like that are great, and this one actually works pretty well. I played with it a bit, so y'all need to look at that if you're interested in finding new and cool domain names, because I have been playing with stuff like that. I really wish there was a .geek TLD, but it's not owned by ICANN. It's hosted by something else, and so you can't really get it publicly. It's stinky. And I see the Uncle Flywheel says Flywheel called and left about 15 voicemails before they gave up and left you alone. I actually did that with HubSpot. I love HubSpot. I've been, I like the software. I like it a bunch. And also, I don't think Salesforce did, but HubSpot gave me so many calls and voicemails and things like that. I'm like, I'm good. And it was a little intimidating because of the number of sales calls it was. And I understand that's their thing. I mean, that's showing what they do. But man, I don't like people calling me. I'm absolutely a guy like, send me an email. That's great. So anyway, in the tutorials, there is about close to the bottom of it, there is a why and how to use lossy compression images on your website. This is neat, y'all. This is because we need site speed. We need all sorts of things to make it make our sites faster. And lossy compression on your WordPress images is something that's probably good. That's what the compression plugins do. And it basically explains what you're doing when you're reducing the file sizes. It's talking about just a lot of it on how you do it with different pieces of software, and goes through why Google why Google recommends it, and things like that. Some new plugins that I didn't actually know about, and if you guys mentioned these before, I'm not aware of them, with uCloud and ShortPixel. If you guys have mentioned that to me before, I apologize, because I didn't remember those at all. But it talks about the what these actually do to your images, which is something that everyone needs to know. Also, which plugins and everything work well and how they do it. So Kinsta did a good thing on that one. And Judy, you say that those calls are your social life. Do you make those calls yourself? Is that what you're doing? Is that part of your job, having to make those kind of calls? Because I know you're not the one who called me. That is one thing. If it was you, I would have answered. But then also under tutorials, this is my favorite one. The next two are my favorite two that I pulled up. The Yoast, have to have something for Yoast, is how to use Pinterest to grow. That's something that I'm really passionate about. And it's weird because I tell everybody that if you want to get into a market that is really popular, that will bring a ton of new traffic to your site and grow, you need to go to Pinterest. Man, my Southern came out on that one. You need to go Pinterest because it has so much traffic. It generates so much traffic. And if you're pinning things right, if you're absolutely doing the best practices, you can get tons of click-throughs, and you can get, because people are coming there for resources, not just for pretty pictures. Being able to go there for the how-tos, being able to go there for the designs and seeing what's behind it, what else you have, it is great to do. The way that they talk about it is that after a month, 10% of to their blog is Pinterest based, and almost probably more is on my fitness and running stuff more than from Pinterest. That whenever I'm at Pinterest and pinning a couple of times, I get a lot more repins. I get a lot